Merry Meet and welcome to Witchy Wednesday here at Ariel's Corner. This is Ariel Gatoga, and we are streaming live on YouTube and on Twitch. Oh, we have this we have the same video that we've had the same 3 times. That's okay. We're just going to leave it up. Thank you so much for being here today. We're going to do some witchy woo in just a moment. So nice to have everybody on the stream today. We have moderating for us on YouTube, we have the lovely Dre and the lovely Chad moderating, and on Twitch we have the lovely Honeypaw. So thank you, moderators, so very much, and thank you to everybody for joining us today for Witchy Wednesday. We stream Witchy Wednesday each and every Wednesday, and we have always some sort of practical magic for us to learn and explore. And I'm cutting things out as we speak, getting ready for this stream. We had the tarot streams ran over a little bit today just because we had some issues with my computer, which we do every so often. It's just part of live streaming. And so we were a little bit late. But I made it on time for Witchy Wednesday, so yay for me. If you'd like to give us a donation, you can do that by going to paypal.me/arielgatoga, paypal.me/arielgatoga. If you're watching live on YouTube, you could use a super sticker or super chat if you feel like giving a donation right on the platform. If you are watching on Twitch, make sure that you follow us on Twitch, and that you, if you want to watch without any ads, that you subscribe to us. If you're on YouTube, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. We have a shop at arielscornershop.com, arielscornershop.com. We have all kinds of beautiful merchandise for sale. We make a small commission off of each and every sale, and we do appreciate your support. And we have a chat thread open on each of those streams. If you have any questions for me about what I'm doing or anything at all, you can just put it right in the chat thread, and I will be able to get to your question, I think, before the end of the stream. I don't think the stream will go too long today, but I don't have to get to work quite as fast, so if we go over, it's not going to be as big of a deal for me, so I'm not going to rush through what we're doing today. All right, so I put a little poll up on YouTube about what everybody was going through, because I'm kind of interested, in what kind of magic you're looking for and why. And so I want to kind of go through some of these responses before we get into what we're doing today. And so you can see sort of there was a little bit of a method to my madness in asking. So the question was, I'm preparing my upcoming Witchy Wednesday spells, and I'm curious about what you need most right now. And the options on the poll were money, love, protection, job, career, or other. And of course, money won. It usually does, 39%. Then after that was protection. And then after that was job, career. Then after that was love. And then other. So let's look at some of these comments as to what people are looking for. Somebody wants a spell for understanding, world peace, practiced collectively across the globe. The more people we enlighten, the more peace will prevail. That's true, but that's not really how spells work so much. We don't do spells on a global level. So that's a different kind of thing. It's not really a spell per se. It's out of our sphere of influence as spells go. Success, which should cover everything in our lives. I can see why you would say that, but in magic, it's good to be specific. You don't want to just do success for everything. You can't visualize success in everything. There's nothing to anchor on success for everything. So you want to take one little thing at a time, and you actually work practical magic on that thing. You should be able to, not only to be able to visualize it, to see it, to have some form to it, but also you should be able to know when it's occurred. So you can check it off and say, yay, success. But if you have success in general for everything in your life, you'll never know when you get it. You don't have anything tangible. So for practical magic, I really recommend that you have something specific that you're working on that you can actually, know when it's occurred. Peace and love among each other. Okay, that's nice, but that's not very specific either. So if you're having a problem in regards to relationships from yourself, like with your own relationships, be specific as to what that problem is that you want to solve, or if there's a specific thing in that regard that you want to expand, you want to be able to be more specific than that. Job, career, I'm finding it hard to hold my confidence steady at this time. Okay, so job, career, confidence, those are things that we can work with. Spiritual development, okay, that's very sort of broad, maybe in regards to what you mean by spiritual development. So if you want to spell, so I think you're getting my point here. When you want to spell, you can't do a spell for general things because there's no way to focus your mind on something general. You need to focus more specifically. A spell to increase magical abilities. That's good. Now let's be more specific as to what magical ability. You want a spell to increase your visualization ability, manifestation ability. What do you mean? Love, particularly self-love. Okay, then I would break that down. You know, what part of yourself needs work on that. Discipline to move forward and out of a stuck mindset. Okay, so you can be more specific with that. Where are you stuck? Which part of your process feels stuck? And then you work on one stuck place at a time. Letting go of the past. Okay, one past regret, hurt, shame at a time. Good health and vitality. Okay, so that's good to have overall good health, and there's nothing wrong with doing kind of broad magic for that. But if you're doing a spell for health, it would be a good idea to have an idea as to what part of your body, where you want the health. You know, do you want a spell to exercise more frequently, for your diet? What specifically? The ability to focus, learn, and stop your mind from wandering. That's very specific. A spell for peace. Okay, that's good to have a spell for overall peace, but you might want to look in and see what's not peaceful and maybe do a spell on that. Prosperity is here. Now that's very general. And again, there's nothing wrong with doing general type magic. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it, but to do a spell to have just to really get yourself successful, let's be more specific. I think people are afraid, well, if I'm specific about this, then maybe the rest of it won't get handled. Well, then you do another spell and then another one. You take it one spell at a time. Remember your sphere of influence, how to deal with difficult personalities in the workplace. Okay, that's good overall. You know, if you're working on yourself, you know, what are your triggers, and you can even take one trigger or one sort of umbrella set of triggers at a time. Or if it's a specific person, then you want to have a spell on healing a relationship with a specific person. And then this one is fun. If you will start allowing public opinion to decide, this is just going to become a money channel. Ironically, I can't help but think the fixation is what's causing some people's problems. They're putting money on a pedestal as something they can't reach. Little do they know, if they focused on peace instead, money would come. I can see where you're coming from with that. But I'm not really doing this to allow a public opinion to decide how I'm running my channel. I'm trying to get a sense of what people are going through so I can help. Peace throughout the world. Okay, that's not, that is specific, but that's kind of out of your sphere of influence. Creativity boost, that's good. So you could even get more specific with that. I love a creativity spell. That's wonderful. Belief, I think you mean faith. Yeah, I think it's good. You can have work on expanding your sphere of influence and your ability to have faith in things. That's good. This is specific. My real estate business to prosper by acquiring more listings, becoming number one in my country. Good. So that's probably a long-term goal. You might want to break that down a little bit and take it smaller chunks at a time. But that's nice that you're being that specific. A job that will bring in money. Okay, what kind of job? What do you feel like doing? What are some of the qualities of the job that you want? How much money? What is your sphere of influence? Is it beyond what you think is possible? If so, then pull it back a little bit, etc. Securing a home, good. So then being more clear on exactly what, where, how much, all of that. Good fortune with victory, success. Again, more specificity is good. How to use the witch's cord properly. Okay, that's not really a spell, but I will definitely do a video on that. Good, quite a good suggestion. So you see what I'm saying. Luck, power, peace, reversal spells. So those are all good. Now, let's make sure that when you're doing all of these things that you're finding some specificity. All right. So all of that to say that what we're working on today can be used for any of those types of goals. Okay. Let's look at the difference between thinking that you have to find a money spell, a really good spell for money, or a really good spell for love, or a really good spell for protection. Instead, what we're going to do today is we're going to work a type of magic that you can gear toward any goal at all. And I call this gray magic. Now, gray magic, it's going to be a type of talismanic practice. Now, Isaac Bonowitz back in the 70s made the term gray magic very popular. But the way Isaac Bonowitz talked about gray magic, and the way a lot of people talk about gray magic, is within the context of magical ethics. So black magic is being, I don't know, bad, and white magic is being good, and everything in the middle are shades of gray. That's not how we use the term here. The way we use the term here is more practical than that. The better way of calling this, instead of calling it gray magic, really should be called value magic. Okay, so this is what a gray scale looks like. This is very dark. This is the black, and this is white. And this is, then it just breaks it up into 7 shades of gray in here. So you've got a total of 9. You've got black at one end, white at one end, and in the midst of that, you have all of these shades of gray. Now, so instead of calling it gray magic, we really could be calling this value magic. Value magic is probably a better word, but it's called gray magic. And it's not gray and black and white have nothing to do with ethics in this. You can work very dark black magic on something that's extremely positive and benign. And you can work very white magic on something and it's really evil and bad and not good for you. So it's let's take it out of the ethics perspective. Think in terms of light and then shadow. So white is the most light and the least amount of definition and shadow, and black is the most shadow. In fact, there's so much shadow that you can't sometimes even see any form because there's nothing left besides there's no light left. So if we were working gray magic the way we're going to work today, we can go through each and every value to go from concept all the way into manifestation. And that's what we're going to do. Or you can work it backwards by starting with a manifestation and lightening it up until it disappears. And that's exactly how we're going to use it today. Now, to get a gray scale, you can use just pencils. You don't need any fancy equipment. And what I do when I'm doing a gray talisman, a gray magic talisman, is I usually will take each of the I'll take different softnesses of lead, either graphite or charcoal, to make it easier. But you could start out just practicing coloring in with a pencil, and just go as light as you can, like that. I'm not going to go through this because we're not going to use pencil today, but I want to make sure that you could just do this even with a number 2 pencil. And then for the next value up, you go a little bit harder until you get all the way over to black, and then you go as hard as you can. Or you could use different softnesses of pencil to get the different blacknesses. Okay. Now, I'm going to use some markers today just because they show up easier and because I haven't done it with markers before, so I wanted to. So this is an experiment. So I've got things falling. I've got a bunch of these markers here, and this is a set of grayscale markers. So you don't have to go out and buy a set of grayscale markers. Like I said, you can do it with just a pencil and learn how to vary your pressure to get the different grayscales. So what we're going to make today is an actual talisman. So let's start like we always do with a square sheet of paper, which I could have done on my own and had this ready. But like I said, I was running late today because our tarot streams ran over. So you just get to help watch me do all this stuff. We don't need the microphone cord in there. Okay. So we'll start out with a square sheet of paper. Now, the typical grayscale that artists use is what we use, but you can have it be anything. You can make your grayscale be 4 different shades. You can have it be 20 different shades. You can have it be whatever you want it to be, and just varying the scale. But I'm going to use the 9 total. So black is the first value, and white is value number 9. And I'll show you in a minute how we do that. But first, let's make our basic talisman here. We're going to just find center. Oh, and I didn't bring my eraser, but that's okay. I sort of have an eraser. I'm afraid it's going to smudge it. Is it smudgy? Yeah, it's a smudgy eraser. It's all right. I'll just go get it in a second. In fact, hang on a second. I'm going to get my eraser. This is going to drive me crazy. I like erasers. Okay, let's see. Let's just get rid of my excess lineage here. Get my headphones back on. Make sure that I've got my... Oops. Uh-oh, something is happening. Okay. Can we do a spell to diffuse the fumes from the Palestine, Ohio toxic gas? If that's in your sphere of influence, I don't know, are you that powerful? I don't know if you can. Some people could, probably. I don't know if you can. Okay, so now this is our center. What I want to do is do let's do 1/2 inches here. I'm just going to do a vertical line here. And let's take and make a little mark at every 1/2 inch up this line here. Right, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That might be, I don't think I have enough space. We'll use centimeters. I think this might work better. We'll go on this side. Okay, so we're going to do a circular grayscale. Let's see, this is going to work 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, we'll get it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Now what we'll do is we'll take our compass. I've got some sheets with these grayscale circles ready to fill in that I will upload. I just haven't had time to finish them. This is actually part of my class on color magic that I haven't released yet. So stay tuned. But I do already have most of the handouts done on this. Okay, so now I just want to set up my compass so that it lines up with this mark I just made, and then I'll make a little circle. Oh, this is too dark of a pencil. Actually, you know what? Nah, we'll just use it. Sorry, guys. A little bit out of sorts today. I should do a spell to become in sorts. Okay, then we're gonna do this one. At least, and it shows up better anyway, so it's fine that it's dark. So I'm just making concentric circles every centimeter. Now you can also do this with a spiral. It's just harder. It's more challenging. So I'm going to show you how to do it with circles first. And anybody really can do this. But like I said, I do have a sheet that already has these circles printed out. I mean, you know, on the sheet, and all you have to do is print it out, and then you can just color it in with whatever you're using for your grayscale. Oops. And it's okay if it's not perfect, but I kind of want it to be as even as possible. And like anything, you know, it does take time to do this stuff. So when you're taking your time, you're thinking it through. You're thinking about what it is that you want. Now you can use this, like I said, to banish, to get rid of something. And then you'll start with, if it's something solid that you're trying to get rid of, you start with the black, and then you go out to white. If you are wanting to create something or manifest something, you start with white and then you go to black. So, but black is just manifestation. It's just, you know, matter. It doesn't mean anything ethically. Okay, so now we can, if we want to, we can write things in here if you want. I mean, you can get as crazy as you want. You can do symbols in here. But what I would do is just write either a symbol or a word, a keyword as to what you want. So let's say that what you wanted was, I don't know, say you wanted, oh, where's my square? I thought I had some squares. Squares. What did I do with my squares? That's weird. Well, I'm going to make a square. Just take a little sheet of paper and just write out after you've decided what you want. And those of you who've never done any of my courses, you might want to maybe watch some of the videos on how to, you know, how to determine your goal and all of that stuff. But once you know your goal, you want it to be somewhat specific. So let's just say that you wanted a job in a, that you wanted a job as a food server making, I don't know, making at least $200 a night at a nice restaurant. So you could write that out here. New job as a food server making $200 oops, per night or more. Okay. And then what I would do is just put that to the side, and we know that that's what you want. We know that that's your goal. You've already written that down. And so what you're going to do is maybe have a symbol that represents that for you. Maybe let's use pencil, or a single word. You could just say the single word is job. But you know that this word job is distilled from your goal. Okay, so you've basically transferred your idea of what you want to this job. And then what you do is you start out by creating your grayscale. So we're going to start with white, and then we've got these are already pre-done, so we'll just use them. We're going to do, this is 30%, 50. I've never used the markers for this. I've only used pencils. And the pencils are great, except for it can take a long time to get that scale perfect. You know, it can take a while, especially if you're not used to doing it. And just do your best. Just do your best. 20, 30. That's black. What is this one? I should have had this all done ahead of time. 70. 60. And this one is 40. And this one is 50. Okay, here we go. All right, so what I do when I'm using markers in general, if I'm going to fade to white, let's make sure we got the number right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So since we're fading to white, I'm going to actually paint this clear, this outer circle. I'm going to kind of paint it clear, just so that if I get marker on there, it'll fade out. So this doesn't really, this is going to disappear altogether. But for markers, I kind of like to have it, the edge be this clear marker. It just helps if I'm that I don't get any color in there. Sort of is what do they call that? It's repellent. It kind of repels some of the color a little bit. So this will actually dry and you won't see it anymore. Okay, so this outer one is clear, is white. And then we're thinking about our new job, aren't we? We're just thinking about it. We're just saying, well, I want my new job, or whatever it is that you're wanting, and you're really feeling like it's manifesting as you're coloring it in. You can make these a lot smaller too. You don't have to have these huge talismans like this. This is kind of too big, but I wanted to be able to make sure that you saw it. I might even use this chisel. Thinking and thinking about what we want, what it's going to do for us, what the essences of our desire are. Now, you don't need to use a circle. You could use anything you want to make your grayscale. You could do a triangle. You could just do it in a line. I like the circle, though, because I feel like it's coming into focus for what I want. And I won't take the time and care on this today, just so that it doesn't turn into a 2-hour stream. But you can really take care and get that as smooth of a transition as possible. And the reason is not for some sort of artistic merit, because nobody's going to see this but you, but just to get it into your mind better. The more care and the more time you take, the more it's going to, you know, be accepted into your deep mind that, yes, I am manifesting this thing. And for some of you, it's a job as a food server, making $200 per night or more. And I'm going to show you something else you can do with this. Those of you who make it through this whole stream, after it's done, there's more you can do. Okay, now this one should be 30%. So we're going to go a little darker. I don't know if there's grayscale crayons. That would be great if there were. I don't think there are. Somebody needs to make them. I think you can get grayscale colored pencils. I believe you can. But just regular graphite or charcoal pencils work great. And I like to use, like I said, different weights of pencil, different softnesses, just because it makes it easier, because I'm not very good at coloring with pencil. But if you're good at varying your pressure, you only need a number 2 pencil, and you just go real dark for the black and real light for the lighter grays, and you just try to get it as smoothly as you can. Gray magic. It's really a wonderful thing. But it has nothing to do with ethics. Absolutely zero to do with ethics. You see, in color, a lot of people don't understand color. Sometimes they think that what they're responding to is the hue, but they're actually responding to the value. They're actually responding to how light or dark it is, how vibrant it is. And so when you working gray magic, you're getting rid of the color element completely, which is nice, because then you can just go right for the value itself, and you can start seeing and feeling density rather than getting distracted by the color. Color is very distracting. Okay, we are just being very rough with this. It's not that great. That's okay. 40. I'm just using a chisel. I'm not even trying to make it pretty. I'm just using that like a regular chisel marker here. I'm not using the brush. I can go in later and use the brush if I want to make it all nice, but I'm just putting grays down on a piece of paper. You could probably do this with actual charcoals too, charcoal pastel type things. But the charcoal pencils work great for this, because you can really vary the shades of gray a lot easier than with a regular pencil, or I think better than with graphite. And they're not that expensive. If you go to an artist supply place, it's not that expensive to get charcoal pencils. You get a little set of them. But they do take longer than these markers. We'd still be on the first circle if I was using that pencil, the charcoal. So we are going from white to black because we're trying to manifest something. If we're trying to get rid of something, we'd go the opposite way. We'd go from black to white. And black doesn't need to be the center. It really just depends on how you want to visualize it. I like to think of black as the center for this, just because I feel like it's coming into focus, right? I feel like everything's coming into focus. But you don't have to do it that way. This is 50%. Okay. But, you know, some people would look at this and they would see it more as a target. And so that might not be as positive of a, a symbol for them. So they might want to use a different symbol. But I like the circles for talismans in general. And if we're not going too over, I can go ahead and clean this up and make it look prettier. The cool thing about the markers too is you can keep doing stuff with them and fix them. It's like more like painting. And with pencil too. Pencil is very forgiving. And the cool thing about pencil is you can use a light pressure on your eraser to fade to white at the end too, if you want to have that nice fade out at the end. But again, it's not about your artistic ability. It's just about getting shades of gray down on a piece of paper. It's all that you need. You don't have to be any good at anything. Okay. What is this one? I think I already did this. This is 40. Oh, let's put this over there. This should be, that's 80. 70. Here's 60. Now you don't have to use that little piece of paper in this if you don't want to, but you can. I just like to write down clearly what I want, because I'm not going to write it in this talisman because there's no place to put it. So I just want a single word or a symbol in the center as to what I want. But I know that it represents what I wrote on that other piece of paper. But you could put that other piece of paper on top of this one if you wanted to. And if you want to include candles in this, if you're going to stick with straight gray magic, you'd use a black candle for manifestation and a white candle for banishing, which sounds opposite of what it should be, but that's the way it goes, because we're trying to get something into physical form, and black is how we do that. So black represents the physical form, whereas the white represents the invisible. So if you're trying to make something disappear, you want to go from black to white. And so therefore, if you were going to burn a candle, you'd burn the white candle, because that's your goal, is to have it gone. Hopefully that makes sense. So it's a little different than what people think of when they think of black and white and gray. People think white is good and black is bad. Not in gray magic. Black is manifest and white is invisible. And neither is good or bad. It doesn't matter. And then you can go into all kinds of different ideas with this. I mean, you can just use this as a jumping off point, and you can assign a different scale, a different number on the scale here as to where your goal fits even, and only go into that particular amount of manifestation if you wanted to. But I like to go through the whole scale if I'm trying to manifest a physical object or a physical experience. I like to go through the whole scale all the way to black. I'm using the Chart Pack Add Markers grayscale, but all the alcohol markers, you can find a grayscale in there. You can find grayscale pens. You can find all kinds of grayscale stuff to play with. You can use a lot of different media for this. Like I said, I don't think they have grayscale crayons, but that would be so cool. Somebody needs to come out with those. I could be wrong. Maybe they do have them. Okay, so then whatever your keyword is or your symbol, you're going to color it over. So you won't see it anymore by the time we get to this black. So here's your job. And when we color it over with the black, your job is manifest. Okay, and then if I wanted to clean this up a little bit, I could. What is this? Make sure I have the right ones. Just my 20%, so I could use the brush and just kind of transition this a little better. And if you used, if I was doing this without the camera, I probably would use a really light pencil so you wouldn't even see the pencil marks. And then I could just blend everything into one another. I'll just go through it real quick and do that. Oops. I'm so not taking care at all. Just like throwing gray down on the paper, which is all you need. 40. 40. And it gives you so much time, though, to think of your desire and to really see it and to conjure those feelings and to just think, wow, this is really happening. I'm really manifesting something. I'm going right from white to gray, to black, all through the scale. How amazing is that? It feels so powerful, right? What is this? 50. I think I screwed this one up a little bit, but that's okay. You get the picture, though. $60. I have a really cool thing I want to talk about tomorrow. We were going to start our Luciferian stuff, but I think that's going to be next week. Tomorrow I'm going to talk about ancestors, ancestor reverence. Unless for some reason I change my mind. All right, so that's about what we do. Let's see, where's this? Oh, that's black. 70. Oh, here's 80. Let's do this 70 first. Oops, are you here? That's 60. There it is. This paper doesn't seem to be the very happiest with these markers. I thought it was a good one, but maybe not. kind of like the graphite better, to tell you the truth. It works a little better, I think. This one is, that's 80. Okay. And just make sure this is nice and black. All right, I'm going to cut this baby out. I think you could do paint. The cool thing about paint, like watercolor and stuff like that, is you can make your own grayscale just by mixing more water, you know, with the watercolor, or if you're doing acrylic paints, by mixing white into the black. So you can really come up with your own grayscale that way. But just using the pencil is the common way of doing it. We don't really, I've never used markers before for this. And it did all right. And it's going to work. I think I would use regular marker paper next time. This is just cardstock. It didn't seem to take it so well. Okay. Now, like I said, if you wanted to use a candle, which I don't really do when I do this, I just hide this away somewhere. But if you wanted to charge it with a candle, just charge it with a black candle. Now, if I was doing gray magic to get rid of something, I could start out with black and then go out to white, or I could change it. I could start out with black and come down to white. It just depends on how you want to visualize it. You know, getting smaller and smaller and smaller and disappearing. Whereas for manifesting, I think of it as focusing and focusing and focusing until it comes true. This doesn't show up on camera very well, but that's just a bunch of grayscale. All right, let's see if there's any questions, and then I'll show you some other stuff you can do with this real quick. Oops. Live communication. Oops, why is this not working? Oh, chats, that's why. Yes, you can use other values. That's what it's about really to show you, if you wanted to use other values. But what happens is if you're doing like painting or markers and things like that, if you get the gray down first, then adding the other colors makes it even easier. I would probably go over this several times with marker, and then I could, I was going to show you with markers, but I don't have any colored markers here. But then you can just color over the gray with the marker that you want, the color that you want. And so then what you would be doing is you would have different shades of, like say, I don't know if that yellow is going to be that easy to do all 9 shades, but different shades of red, different shades of green. You could combine different colors. This is all part of color magic, and using the values according to the amount of density that you want. But always realizing that you're coming from white to black to manifest something, and from black to white to eliminate something. But then, like I said, if you wanted to, if I was doing this for those of you that were doing a money spell, I could do a really light pale green right on top of this gray, and then use a darker green, all the way down, and then I could put a very dark green right over the black. And I like putting the color on top of the gray. I like putting the color right on top of the gray, like an underpainting almost, if you will. So yes, that was the one question. Can we do values in other colors, like black being burnt yellow and white being pale yellow? Yes. Here's one that says, I would like to do a spell to help confidence in speaking up, out, sharing ideas. I gave up a few years ago for self-preservation, but I want to find my voice again. So that's, again, if you're using this gray magic technique, your black would indicate that which you desire. So that would be your feeling, what was it? Confidence in speaking out. So you would figure out how to word that, and then you'd put your symbol or keyword in the center, and then that black would be that. So it's really, you could use it for anything. Then it says, after the symbol is colored in, do you consider the spell cast? And then should I then forget it? Yes. Once you're satisfied that you've done this, and you can go over this several times, like I'm sort of doing. I didn't really take time to do that, but you could. But I would, if you go over it again, go over through the whole sequence. Don't just go for the parts that look. Let's see, where is it? So I would go through that whole sequence, and I could go over it again. And if you wanted to do a multiple day spell, you could just recolor it. Don't make a new talisman, just recolor it on top of the old one, just to get the gray in there. But really, I don't really do multiple day spells when I'm working this kind of thing. It's usually just a one and done for me. Because I usually spend, when I'm doing, because like if I was doing this in graphite or charcoal, this would probably take me a good 2 hours. So by the time I'm done, I'm done. Just done. No more of this. And it's sort of like, those of you, I don't know if any of you sing, but if you're a singer, by the time you're really sick of singing a song, it's about time. You're ready to perform it, right? Same with acting. If you're really sick of these lines, you're probably ready, to perform them. Same with this gray magic. By the time you're done with this, it's like, okay, I get it. This is what I want. This is what I've got. I spend a good amount of time. Just until I'm satisfied with the scale. But again, without being perfectionistic about it. It's okay if it's just a bunch of gray down there, but I try to, do my best. Where's this? 20, this is the 30. Oh, it's 40. Here's 30. You know what I'm saying? Let's see if we have any other questions while I'm finishing this up. Nope, that's it. All right, well, I think this is probably good. I was going to show you how to color some color on top of this, but I'm just not prepared for that today, just because I was running behind because of our stream issues. But I so appreciate you being here today, and I really appreciate the moderators of today's stream. We had the amazing Dre and the amazing Chad on YouTube. Oops. It's this one. The amazing Dre and the amazing Chad on YouTube. And on Twitch, we had the amazing Honeypaw. So I'm just going to sit here and color for a little bit longer. I'm not going to end the stream, but if you need to leave, I totally understand. And like I said, tune in tomorrow, because we have, we're going to be talking about ancestors tomorrow. And especially for those of you who are working on things like generational curses, this will be very, very helpful for you to tune in tomorrow. But for it's helpful for a myriad of things. Ancestor reverence is very, very helpful. And the way I do it might be a little different than what you're used to. So tune into that. Then we have, on Friday, we'll have a Shekinah square, because it'll be the first Friday after the new moon. So you may want to tune in for that, those of you that like that. And I think for this week, I may even demonstrate it with with LED candles, so that people don't realize that it's just as effective as using regular candles. You don't need to use regular candles if you can't burn them. You can use LEDs for this, and they're not that expensive. You can get a whole box of them for under $20. So, and I bought a bunch on Amazon, and they all work perfectly. So LED candles. You know who started me on that was Marion Weinstein. Back in the when they first came out with LED candles, she was like right the first on the scene, and she used them a lot, especially if she was doing because she liked to work her magic outdoors, and so rather than getting hurricanes and stuff for the hurricane coverings for the candles, she just started using the electric candles, and people always rolled their eyes or like, oh, that's not going to work, and sure did. It sure did. So LED candles are an absolute alternative if you don't want to burn candles and you do want to do candle magic. The trick is that for the burn down, where you're supposed to burn it down and let it burn down and out, let it leave it on for at least an hour. And that can be the substitute for the burn down time, if that makes sense. See, it's just this paper doesn't seem to take these markers as well as the other paper. I'm a little disappointed in the performance, but that's okay. I was told that this cardstock would be really good for this, and so I believed before I experimented on my own, and I am not thrilled. Okay, that was 40. I need 50. Oops, that's 60. Here we go. 20, 30, 40, 50. See how it comes out when it dries, it's sort of blotchy. That's the paper, not the markers. Because I've used these gray markers on regular marker paper a lot, and they don't do that. But regular marker paper kind of is expensive, so I thought, well, somebody told me to use this cardstock and it would be just fine. And I don't agree. But then again, for this, it's okay if it's not frameable. Nobody's going to see this but you. So if it's blotchy, it's blotchy. Still going to work as long as there's gray down on the paper. Well, whoever wanted that restaurant gig, you're going to be very happy. Whoever was looking for that restaurant job, we just really cast you a nice, very powerful spell here. So with color magic, it doesn't matter what medium you use. It really doesn't. You can use crayons. It's just hard to get the grayscale with crayons. I will admit that. It is hard. In that case, just use regular pencils. But for the coloring, you can use crayons. You can use, what is that? 20, 30, 40, 50, no, 60. You can use colored pencils. You can use paints. 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, yeah. 189, right? 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. I got it. And we're going to, I hope to get that color magic book out soon. It's pretty close. I'm just not 100% ready because I just haven't had time. I've been so busy with work, and then my mom, she's doing well, but she's in assisted living, so she takes up a lot of my time. So I just don't have the extra time that I used to have when I first started this channel to put stuff out at the rate that I was putting it out before. I will have time again in the future. It's just a really busy time in my life right now, so I just have to go with the flow. Go with the flow. Because I'm not prepared to do spells to get rid of things yet, because I like everything that's happening. So I just have to, take it as it comes. Let's see if I have any other questions that came in. See, it's just so streaky on this paper. I'm not thrilled. Normally it just lays down such a nice color, nice gray. But it's still fun. 50 Shades of Gray. It's a whole different concept than this gray magic. I never read any of those books or saw the movie, so I just know it was very erotic. That's all I know about it. And very popular. That actor was on that show, was it called Once Upon a Time? Or was it called Ever After? I can't remember. That Disney show. So, but he played a very different. He was like the sheriff of Nottingham or something like that. Let's see here. This is 70. Yay. It's kind of fun not to be rushed. Usually I'm rushing to get to work, but I have a little lighter day today. I had some cancellations, so I can just take a little bit more time. There's probably 3 of you left. Like, okay, this is boring. But see, that's the bulk of magic. Is a lot of magic is this, just time consuming, little by little working, because it gives you the opportunity, even though I'm chit-chatting here just because it's a stream, it gives you the opportunity to really focus in on what you want. So these kinds of operations are really good to take some time if you can, regardless of what it is. And you know, use the opportunity to create that thought form. Okay, let's see if I have any questions. Nope. Oh. Nope, I don't. Okay, now I just need one more of these and we're good to go. These are awfully similar. Some of these shades are a lot too similar as well. I think that they could have been a little bit cleaner in their delineation of these shades. The Ohuhu markers had a grayscale set as well, and I almost used those, but I'd already used these before, so I didn't want to do something I'd never used before. So what did I do with the black? Oh, here it is. This is that colorless blender. You can kind of blend it out if you want to, but I have a line here from the pencil, so it's not really going to give you the effect of that. But you can kind of blend out the gray at the end. This colorless blender marker doesn't have a brush, so it doesn't work as well either, but it's kind of cool. It just bleaches out that little bit of gray. And then it fades to white. All right. That's it. That's your gray magic. Okay. Thank you. So I recently had an object I used for my magic work that I broke. I don't think I can fix it. How should I dispose of it? It's made out of glass and I feel bad replacing it, but I must. For me, I just say, I bless you, I release you, and I throw it in the trash. If it broke, it broke. It's done. It's done. And you can, if you want to do some sort of a ceremony to cut ties with it, since you've consecrated it, you can. But usually I just say, you know, I bless you, I release you. And that's how I release my energy from whatever that thing is, and I just toss it in whatever the way is the most appropriate for refuse in your area. So I would not bury it. I would not do anything like that. I would just dispose of it like you would garbage, because by the time you bless it and release it, it's not a magical implement anymore. It's just pieces of broken glass. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here today. I hope this was interesting for you. Do work some gray magic. It's very powerful. And we will see you all tomorrow, I hope. And thank you so much again to the amazing moderators on YouTube. We had the amazing Dre and the amazing Chad. And on Twitch, we had the amazing Honeypaw. And we will see you all very, very soon. Much, much love and many blessings.